Namah Shivaya. Hello, children. Welcome back to another episode where we journey through the life of Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahaswamy. In every episode, we discover the ways in which His Holiness touched the lives, sometimes through words, sometimes through silence, but always through His boundless love and wisdom. So, in today's story, you're going to meet a doctor from Europe who spent more than 30 years learning about health and healing. Despite all the knowledge, there was something missing. So, this doctor came to India searching for answers, and what happened next changed her life forever. So, let's dive into this inspiring story. So, this doctor spent years studying medicine and also helping people recover from their illness. Despite her success, she felt that something was missing. That is, healing the body was not always enough. And she had heard that India was the home to an ancient system of healing called Ayurveda, where medicine is not just about treating diseases, but about bringing balance to life itself. See, understand the greatness of India. We always look up to English medicine, that is allopathy. I don't say that is bad, but we always look down at Ayurveda, which is our own medicine. In the ancient days, if you look at any household, every woman knows remedies for most of the regular normal illnesses, because in our kitchen, in an Indian kitchen, we have a lot of spices and many good things which are actually medicines for many of the sicknesses. So even though we ignore our own medicine, look at this lady. She has traveled all the way from Europe to India to learn about Ayurveda. She visited different places and learned from great teachers, and also she came to know about very remarkable cures. And don't forget, she has been practicing medicine for 30 years by then. So, even if we are good at something, there is always more to learn. We have to be open towards learning new things. So, true learning happens only when we are open to new ideas and experiences. Remember this point while you are studying, and you will learn a lot of things and your knowledge will improve a lot. Okay, coming back. Now, one day, this doctor took a short break from her studies and she traveled to Kanchi to see Paramacharya ji. She was staying in Chennai by then, so Kanchi is very near to Chennai. So she thought, okay, let me go and see, visit Paramacharya, because everybody is saying he's a great saint. So as soon as she arrived at that place, she noticed something different about this place. It was very calm, peaceful, and full of people moving in one direction. So she simply followed the crowd and she saw a saint seated in complete stillness. He is very frail, but his body is radiating an unimaginable strength. Though he never spoke a word, his presence filled the air with a sense of deep peace, security, and love. So hours passed without the doctor realizing this thing. At the sunset, Paramacharya got up and he smiled at the doctor. And at that very moment, the doctor felt something awaken deep inside her. See, understand that great lessons come in silence. So, being in the company of wise and good people can change us without even a single word being spoken. So, after this incident, the doctor returned to her studies, but something has changed. Before, she saw healing as treating the body, but now she understood true healing is more than medicine. It is about bringing peace to the mind and the heart. Then she realized that being a doctor was not just a profession but a service. It is a way to help people with kindness and humility. See, treating people with kindness and humility is required in all professions, but in medical profession it is much more important. When you go to a doctor and you tell all your problems, he just listens to everything and writes some tests and some prescription, puts it in your hand, and you're just done. That is one way. But if you go to another doctor who is kind enough to listen to everything and maybe show some empathy towards you, and then gives you a confidence that no problem, this is not a big thing, you can always deal with it, these are the medicines, you can use it, and I'm sure you'll get back in a few days. See, if somebody is saying all these things, you always have that happiness in you, which will help you cure a little faster. So that is what she realized now. So back home, despite facing all the hardships and challenges, she felt stronger than ever. After she completed her studies, she went back, and I think she has started a foundation for helping the poor people. So that is the impact that Parmacharya's presence has left her with a new energy to face life. So even though he didn't speak a single word, but the number of hours that she spent there has changed her life forever. So this story teaches us that wisdom is not just in books, it is also in experience. So being around great people can shape us in ways we may not even realize at first. But the impact of this will be very high. Now let's look at another incident. In the previous episode, we have discussed about Parmacharya's religious tolerance. Now we'll look at another incident of a similar type. As I said, Parmacharya used to travel to many places. In one such place, many devotees gathered to see him off when he is leaving, and there was a Muslim gentleman in that crowd. He was such a devotee to Parmacharya that he started carrying the palanquin for over 3 miles. Suddenly, Parmacharya asked the palanquin to stop and called him forward. So, this man came forward, he offered various gifts, and he composed some songs on God. He sang those songs in front of Parmacharya, and also he gave a flower garland. He gave some fruit, some sugar cubes, some perfumes, and gold. He brought all these along with him to give it to Parmacharya. So, the Parmacharya, with his usual smile, he listened to all the songs, and he also listened to the meaning of those songs. Tears streamed down the man's face, and he said, Parmacharya appeared to me in the form of Allah himself. So, seeing him had freed me from all the worldly desires. Parmacharya blessed him with compassion, and it left a deep impact on everyone who was watching that. So, this incident shows that true devotion has no boundaries. Faith is always beyond religion. So, a sincere heart and pure love for God will always unite all the people. This is a very important lesson that we should learn for the present day situations that we are seeing around. Because there is a lot of religious intolerance now, if we see between different people. See, Paramacharya is a very big spiritual guru in Hinduism, but he doesn't have any difference between a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian. We are normal people. Why should we have all those differences? Try following your own religion. It doesn't mean if you're a Hindu, you should convert into Christianity, or a Christian converting into Islam. That is not what I'm talking about. Show religious tolerance, but follow your own religion. Okay, now let's talk about another interesting incident. Once Parmacharya visited a place called Vadvambalam. It's a small village. It's near Chendanur railway station. So in this place, the 56th Peethadipati of Kanchi attained his Siddhi. The 56th Peethadipati's name is Sri Atmabodhendra Saraswati Swami. Okay, so he stayed in Kasi for a long time, and he was known for his commentary on Rudra Mantram. So there was no marking in that town to identify the exact place where he obtained his siddhi. So everybody knows that Swamiji has obtained his siddhi in this particular town, but they don't know the exact location. Now Parmacharya started searching for this location. He roamed in the villages, fields, groves, looking for signs, and finally stopped at a place and asked the ground to be dug there. So the village folks were following Parmacharya around during his search, and they said that they had dug these places around for various other reasons, but they did not see any signs of anyone attaining Siddhi in that place. But there was a well in that place. However, Parmacharya insisted and ordered that this place has to be excavated. So, following Parmacharya's orders, the villagers started digging this place, and a few feet into the ground, they found a skull. At that point, one of the persons who was digging this place fell down shouting, Stop, stop, and he felt unconscious. He regained consciousness after a very long time, and then he said this amazing thing. He saw a sannyasi, to be exactly in his words. He said, I saw a sannyasi wearing saffron robes. He was having a dandam in his hand. He was wearing a rudraksha mala around his neck, and he was as tall as the sky. There were several Brahmins around the sannyasi, and they are chanting Upanishads. A huge figure then ordered the chanting to be stopped, and I repeated the same order to stop. Moreover, I heard this person saying, "Don't dig, don't dig." It was said in my ears. And after that, the figure became smaller and smaller and subsequently disappeared. I just heard someone chanting Sada Sivam in my ears. And that too stopped in a little while, at which point I again regained consciousness. So, by the time he suddenly saw that and he heard the word stop, he said stop, and then he felt unconscious. After this, all these things have happened, and after that, he again regained his consciousness. And the village people were really astonished to hear the kind of vision that he had. Everybody just prostrated in front of Paramacharya and requested his guidance on how to proceed further. See, without Paramacharya, they wouldn't even know that such great person is staying just a few feet below the ground on which they're walking. And then suddenly they realized the importance of that place, and that is the reason they asked his guidance on how to proceed further. So Parmacharya has told them that this piece of land has to be donated to the mutt, and a Brindavanam was built there. Brindavanam is whenever a person like a sannyasi obtains his siddhi, that place is called a Brindavan. So always in the Brindavan, we have a small tomb kind of thing that is for us to identify that this is the place. The Siddhis will already be inside under the ground. We can't see them. But when we build a structure over there, it is for us to understand that this is the place. We can go there, we can pray there, and we can get their blessings. That is the reason this is built. So in January 1927, this Brindavanam was established by Paramacharya himself, and daily pujas are being conducted here even till date. Since then, whenever Paramacharya visits that region, he made it a point to visit that particular Brindavan. So from this incident, we should understand that sometimes intuition and spiritual wisdom go way beyond human logic. If we are trying to understand everything with our level of knowledge and our level of logic, we are not going to understand the entire thing. This is the biggest problem that we are facing today. Many of the youngsters never try to understand what is there in the scriptures, but if somebody comes and tells something on YouTube, they just go with him. If somebody says Ramayana and Mahabharata are just an art of fiction, we also say, yes, it is true because we don't have any evidence. So that is not always correct. And also, sacred places should always be honored and protected. Whenever you find, not everybody should go to big, big places. Just look at places around you. If there is a temple which is nearby your place, try going and visiting that place. Not that everybody should go to Kanchi, everybody should go to Tirupati, or everybody going to Ayodhya now. It's not that. We have to go to those places, but also try renovating the temples in your place. If you're going every now and then to the temple, visiting the temple and paying something over there, doing some service, that temple will be developed, and who knows what is there underneath. So thank you for listening to this episode, and join us in our next episode as we uncover another inspiring moment from the life of Paramacharya. So until then, stay devoted, stay compassionate, and keep learning. Have a good day. Bye bye.